Welcome back to Comic Book Wednesdays. We're a weekly series where we're talking about comic books. Shade, you're getting attacked. We're your hosts.
That's not usually the way this goes.
I'm Alex.
I'm Ian.
I'm confused.
Yes.
And we're finally at Secret Wars.
Yay!
Yay. It's a secret.
Woo! We're going to play the Avengers fanfare music here, Mr. Producer Man in the background. Just kidding. We don't have a producer. So here
That
we are, guys.
non-copyrighted version.
That's right.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
That was just like being in the theater.
So, Secret Wars issues 1, 2, and 3. We decided not to do the 0 issue this time. It was redundant. There was no point. So, overall thoughts of the book so far, guys?
Some really cool parts. Some stuff I didn't understand. I'm sure it was the same for you, right, Shane?
Yeah, no, some stuff I didn't understand. Really cool parts. It's a lot of time fuckery, which I am a fan of, but also lends to the confusion. Like, I'm sure it'll explain itself, but there's that part of me that's like, what the hell?
Yeah. I remember the first time I read this, and I was like, what the is going on? I got no clue who these characters are. They're, they had, some of the Future Foundation kids going around, and I'm like, the purple dude, I'm like, is that Thanos? No, that's not Thanos. They're calling him Dragon. I'm really confused. I have no idea who that is. And now that I know the characters a bit more, it's a little bit more enjoyable, I guess. But Alex, you said there were some really cool parts. You just want to kind of tell us your favorite parts so far?
Well, Colossus doing that fastball special and throwing the Hulk through a different dimension was
That was cool.
spectacular.
And for those who don't know, explain the fastball special.
So usually he does it with Wolverine. He picks him up and tucks him into a tight little ball and throws him at a Sentinel, and Wolverine goes claws first through a Sentinel, and it's usually pretty cool. But seeing it done with a Hulk really shows Colossus's strength, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. And the fact that he's able to not only escape Earth's gravity, but then to hit the incursion Earth, right in the Triskelion.
Yeah, that was badass.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm happy they did that. What about you, Shane? Do you have any favorite parts?
Let me see. The Phoenix Force, that was watching that happen when it kind of merged in like that whole entire scene. That was kind of wild to look at. I'm not well versed in like the X-Men stuff, but just the overall like power and beauty of that, I was really taken aback by it.
Yeah, it's something special.
Dude, the art in this alone, I feel like this book's art is 10 times the step up from what we've been reading.
Oh yeah, like even starting with the front page where it's talking about like we are beyond the dreamers who dare stand before us, and it says I Doom, and you really get to see like his face, his eyes, like normally you can see like certain things through those like little eye holes that he has, but it's kind of wild at him just like looking into eternity and being like, yeah, no, I'm better than you.
Doom.
That was one point that I have never seen before. Seeing Doom's face. I was astounded that's what Doom looked like.
We're jumping around a little bit here, but yeah,
I know.
Doom's face is discovered, and he mentions he can't fix his own face, but he is the god of this world. So it's kind of weird. Now, is that more like a mental block thing? He's got this even though he has this bombastic attitude and high self-esteem and I'm better than everybody type attitude, is he really has a lot of self-doubt? Is that where Doom is at this point? He's a god?
I don't know.
It's fascinating. I want to see more of that.
I wasn't a huge fan of the whole Doom World, Battle World thing we're getting, just because I don't really understand it, and this is like the first time I'm seeing it.
So,
So,
little background info: the original Secret Wars took place on a battle world too, but the battle world was created by the original Beyonder. So
okay.
Doom's battle world, he's taking essentially like he's taking the incursion points. Anywhere an incursion happened on Earth, he's able to take a piece of that and create um, like a little area on his battle world, and he's able to like mesh them together for this like new planet. And it's very much like biblical planet. It's like a flat disk with a firmament over top of it, and the sun is
Hmm.
local. They even talk about the sun not existing before he decides to make the human torch the sun.
Because he's the pseudo god of this world at the moment,
Right.
which I find kind of wild. That even I know we'll get to it. I'm just excited, but I just find that really wild that he's just like, "Yep, no, I'm God. Everything's good."
Right. And they talk about like how can you just how can nobody remember the world before, and like part of it's on Doom, but part of it's also just time. It's been 8 years. The battle world has been a thing, and we're really picking up in the middle of that. So it's kind of fascinating, at least in my mind, how like people don't remember the world before until certain people show up. So why don't we talk a little bit more like what happened? So Shane, the first issue.
Yes. First issue is the incursion and the fight. My notes first start taking off where they're trying, the courier, and it's trying to get all these heroes together, and how they're talking about how they were trying to get everybody together for this like arc thing because there's a huge fight going on, and you have this conversation between Sue and Reed where, and Natasha as well, where it's just like, okay, here's the people that's on there, here are the people that left. It went about as well as you could, and like really enforcing the apocalyptic scenario that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people did not want to leave their families. They saw this as the end of the world, and they were like, okay, this is it. We're done.
Right.
Which is
Um.
completely understandable.
Right.
Hmm.
That's how I feel like most people would react.
And then the whole carrier ship gets fucking destroyed, or so we think.
Yeah. I mean, that being the end of the issue. I mean, we learn Manifold has a huge part in getting everybody on the ship, which I thought was pretty neat. And he grabs a couple people: Star Lord, Captain Marvel, Spider Man, Peter Parker. Um, who does he grab? Anybody else? Let me just take a quick look at the book while
Um, can't remember.
no, I think everyone else is kind
Let's
of
see.
there already. Like Sue Storm's already there. T'Challa was there. You see Johnny. Johnny was there.
You have Peter, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man,
Cyclops.
Cyclops.
You grab Cyclops, the Phoenix Force Cyclops. Yeah.
I really do enjoy like Rocket's commentary throughout all of this.
Oh yeah, Rocket has some good commentary, and then he gets shot in the chest and dies.
Fucking wild.
It's a very Rocket thing, though, of like, I'm going to show some one-liners, cool, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
What really surprised me was the panel with the email from Wilson Fisk.
And then
Oh,
the
dude,
Punisher.
the Punisher!
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
fucking the
Yeah.
Punisher comes in and is just like, what's up?
Yo, he's like, I
That
got
was a
all of
great scene.
these bullets to use, and just murders them. That was great. So that's like perfect Punisher too.
Can't take it with you.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Um, we learned the Maker and the Cabal also do their little escape plan shit. Um,
Shifty.
Shifty, and then Sue Storm gets separated from Reed, along with her kids and her brothers, and Ben Grimm I think is part of that too, but maybe not. Maybe Ben's not with them. I don't. I just know
You
that
don't
Ben.
see much of Ben on in that comic.
No,
There's like one or two panels where he's in it, and then that's kind of it.
you know, he might have a bigger role at one point.
I'm gonna take that as he has a bigger role at one point.
Yeah, maybe.
It was cool to see like characters like Luke and Danny, helping people at the end there before the end of the first issue.
Yeah, I like seeing them. They're
It's
characters you
always
don't.
cool to see them.
They're characters we don't see a lot of, mostly because like they have been kind of stuck in Netflix for a little. But I think we'll start to see on the big screen eventually. Maybe on the new Daredevil show. Hopefully,
That would be very cool.
that would be sweet.
I would enjoy that.
But yeah, so first issue is really just like the last incursion, the destruction of the universe. It even gives a
Mhm.
little in memoriam page type thing for the Marvel universe from 1961 to 2015, and the Ultimate Universe from 2000 to 2015. Um,
Really setting up the stakes for everything.
yeah, so we get our introduction to the Doom world and Emperor Doom and all that kind of stuff. What do you think of his police force, guys? Just
The Thors.
the
Yeah,
Thors.
what the fuck?
I didn't quite really understand. I was talking to a friend about this at work today, and I didn't quite understand it till he's like, "Well, if you're gonna police a force or you're gonna police people with a force, who's the one character you're not gonna fuck with?" And it's
Thor?
gonna be Thor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Yep.
I didn't think of that because like honestly when I saw that I was like what like time nonsense happened here that I'm
Also,
not aware of because like this is wild.
they refer to Doom as the Allfather at points. So like I don't know if he has his godly powers stem from the Odin Force, or if
Okay.
they're just the Beyonders' powers, but they do refer to him as the Allfather, or at least Old Man Thor does. So it's something to think about.
Now, what do you mean by like the Odin Force? Is that like where the Asgardians get strength from, or Odin
I think
himself?
Odin's like in the MCU, like I'm referring specifically there. Like Odin has this, like he has to sleep to regain power.
Oh,
He refers to the Odin Force as his like source of his power. He turns into little like gold dusty stuff when he dies. I mean,
okay. I'm on the same page now.
okay, I might not be calling it the right thing, but
No, but I remember when he died in the movies and like when that whole thing happened with Hela and he was just like, "Yep, this is it's my time to go," and then just kind of like poofed into gold dust. So I think I know what you're talking about now. It just
okay.
took me a minute to catch up there.
Oh, yeah, no, it's strange, but I like that. I like the Thor stuff. It seems like you would want somebody worthy of the Hammer to be your police force. At least you're getting someone fair at that point.
That's a really good point and a credit to Doom's society, which I never thought I'd fucking say. But if he's gonna have somebody as a pseudo police force, you're gonna want someone like you guys said who is gonna be worthy, is gonna uphold the law, and like the best test for this is can they wield the hammer.
Right, exactly.
Damn, I didn't even think of that. That's a great point.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I'm a fan of what they're doing there as far as that's concerned. Um, Doom's society as a whole, though, I mean, it's strange. He's got different barons that control each section of the battle world. Um, Braddock, aka Captain Britain, is one of them. You got Apocalypse is one of them. It looks like a version of Moon Knight's deity. I forget the name.
Khonshu.
Khonshu.
Yeah.
Looks like a version of Khonshu.
Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister. Um, and
So, like, are we to assume that all of these people are like time, like just kind of like survived, or is this their new version?
this is Doom's version.
That's what kind of Doom's version. Okay.
I think the only ones that remember the past are anybody in the life rafts, the Doctor Strange, his like sheriff, or Doom himself. Everybody else, I would say, has no clue as to what is actually going on.
And like, what a weird selection of people to choose, like Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse, and like these people who have had nothing to do with the comic so far that Doom chooses to use.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me too, actually.
I look at it this way: they're trying to call back to different stories. Like as Hickman as a writer, each section of the battle world has like maybe like a specific reason for a character.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see the map? Was that with you guys too? Because like I said,
Yeah, I did see that.
I did, yeah.
I mean, like, there's a Manhattan is its own section.
I actually have that saved here. Egyptia, Technopus, Valley of Doom, Spider Island,
Spider
King
Island
James, England.
being like a very specific Spider-Man story.
Oh, Kunlun survived. Eye of Agamotto. 2099. Now, is that a reference to like
it's the future.
The future stuff?
Spider-Man 2099. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess technically considered another universe. So like some of these Elseworld stories or alternate times, things like that, they're all like a part of what Doom has put together here,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's interesting, how he's done it, and I think he maybe takes a key character from those stories, and they're the Baron of that world. But I think, Al, you said one of your favorite moments from the second book was the fight between Mr. Sinister and Braddock.
Yeah, who is it? Jamie Braddock, who apparently is just a character made for this book. I learned today. But he thinks he has him because he chops Mr. Sinister's heads off, and everybody's around him like, that's not gonna do it. And it just like he catches him off guard and is about to kill him, and then Doom's like, hold on. It was a pretty cool scene.
I'm glad you brought up the character Jamie being built for this book. Jamie's the one with the black hair, and Brian is the blonde. So he's fighting Brian. Brian being Captain Britain, I think. He's like the main continuity, Brian, Captain Britain, and he gets fucked up. And then
Yeah.
like Doom comes in and saves him, in a way. But then Jamie Braddock gets sentenced to death to probably one of the coolest things I could ever see. So it's very Game of Thrones, or at least I feel it is. Like having a big wall and like the wilderness, like being like kind of like outcasted to the wilderness type thing.
Which was kind of a fun scene once he jumped down, and like you could see the zombies coming up on him. Like I don't know if you guys noticed there was a certain couple of characters that you could pick out.
I
One
got
sticking
Venom.
out in the right in front and center, which was Doc Ock for me.
Oh, I didn't see Doc Ock. That's cool.
Yeah,
Wait,
Well,
where? I'm looking at that page. Where is Doc Ock?
he's the eight-legged figure in the center of the zombies.
is this just
Oh
like
shit! Okay, wow, I didn't even catch that. Nice.
is this one where is it the scene where he's like, "I'm keeping your brains for myself"? Is that like Venom is saying that,
No,
or
when
is
it
it?
pans back and it's like the zombies coming up on the wall. I wish I can't. This app doesn't work for me sometimes.
Oh, I see him. Yeah, yeah, I see him there. It's Jamie's like slicing and dicing the zombies, and we see Doc
Yeah.
Ock. Yeah, it's cool.
Oh,
Um,
that is cool.
lot of I don't like you're creating this world Doom, and you have a world with you have an area with zombies. On the other side of the world, you got zombies, you got the Annihilation Wave, and you have Ultron. I'm like, you think you might want to like keep shit together, Doom, a little bit better than that?
I don't know.
You're right.
That sounds like just a high class shit sandwich, if I do say so.
Which issue was that? Was that issue 3 that was in?
That was issue 2.
Was issue 2?
Yeah, that one actually ends with the Cabal killing Old Man Thor, which was
Yeah, that's right.
pretty
They come out of
funny.
the come out
Yeah.
of their life raft and throw a spear through his fucking chest.
Yeah, we learned that like anything to do with the old world, Doctor Strange suppresses and enacts a quarantine around it, which I thought was fascinating.
The fact that that conversation, and I know we're like jumping a little bit, but the conversation between Strange and Doom, when he's like, I'm glad you did what you did, and like, yeah, sure, I remember, but this is better, was basically the crux of that conversation, which I thought was wild.
I like how you get a different Doom almost. Like Doom still has his, totally Doom mindset to the people. But
Mm-hmm.
like when he's conversing with Strange or Sue or Valerie, like it's almost like a softer, like older, wiser Doom. Who's not wanting to be the asshole that he seems like he's in every other comic. You know what I mean? Like to me, it seemed kind of cool.
Yeah, he's like right now he's not in the villain role of the book. Um, it's a very interesting way to look at it, and I'm curious to see how it evolves as Reed interacts with him, because I always get the sense like whenever Reed's in a comic book, you get the lens you're looking through is his, and you tend to like get a negative viewpoint on Doom. So I'm gonna see if that changes a bit.
See if he's not actually the negative person that you just see through Reed's eyes.
Yeah, exactly. So like right now, you're seeing him in good light because he's surrounded by his friends, and you see him like behind closed doors and things like that. Um,
Well, even that conversation with Sue, where she was like, here's what you did to Johnny, but it's okay because you made everything better. And I want people to know that you're a good person. And like we find out later on that Reed is alive, and he doesn't know that Sue's alive because he thinks Sue's dead. He's definitely suffering from some like PTSD after watching that, but I don't know how that's going to react. I think that's going to be interesting to read.
Yeah, and I think the way, like, I mean, Sue has no recollection of that event. She probably has no recollection of Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, I agree.
so I'm curious to see how that's going to go because, like, Reed's going to be like, Doom, like, you stole my wife and my kids. Like, what the hell? But then again, he's got to be grateful they're alive because of him. So
Which then puts it into that like awkward thing of like, do you be mad at him because he did this, or do you be mad like, or is it okay because he saved them?
it's true.
That's gonna get weird. I'm looking forward to reading that part. That's gonna get real weird.
Definitely gonna be weird. I mean, there's a lot of like gray areas in all these situations here. Um, I think it's great that I just saw the page here. Miles Morales survives with the Cabal.
Yeah, being interrogated by the Thors, where he's just like, no, I'm not the bad guy. They're the bad guys. I don't know they're the bad guys, but they look like it. It's like if you're gonna follow video game logic in an apocalypse world, good on you.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, and Noha survived. Jane Foster Thor. Um,
Yeah,
she
the
got pulled
Mighty
onto the
Thor
ship.
or whatever her name is.
Yeah, Mighty Thor. Uh, I don't know if she's known to be Jane Foster yet as far as like the comics are concerned right yet. But let's see, Phoenix Force. Like like T'Challa even goes like, Steven, you've been missing for months. Like, where have you been? How are you here? What is going on? And then,
And in classic Steven fashion, he just dodges the question.
oh, he goes, he goes. I mean, like the panel where like he goes, Doom. They're like, who's your god? What the actual?
Yeah, I think I saved that one actually. Pull that up here.
Reed goes, who is it? And Steven says, excuse me, God. Who is the God you're talking about? Because everyone just refers to Doom as God. And then he just says Doom. It's Doom, Reed. Victor saved us all. And everybody's face is just like, what? Yeah. Some crazy shit.
As that like the end with all the Thors arriving with the to see the Cabal. What do you think the game plan is there? Because like so far the Cabal like they survived. We don't know what the Maker is doing, but they were kind of working with like the anti-Reed. That's what I'm going to call them. Um, so what do you think their motives are going to be? Because they're definitely going to be up to some shit. That's for sure. It's just a matter of what that is.
Well, they did it to survive, but the Cabal and the Maker are not people who are settled with just surviving. So how are they going to
Mm.
become the conquerors that they know that they are? So like they'll
Yeah.
try to reap destruction. You know, we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. I'm sure the Thors are there to try to arrest them, but will
I
they?
guess it makes me wonder: can Thanos and his people resist
An army
the
of
Thors?
Thors?
Yeah, because like they're powerful. There's no doubt about that. I'm kind of curious as to what the extent of their power is.
I think that's a fair question. That's definitely a fair question. Um, yeah, I don't know. To be honest. So, I mean, I read this ages ago, so we'll see. I mean, maybe one of them goes. Maybe we'll actually see Black Swan get her shit pushed in. That'd be kind of nice.
That would be kind of nice.
I
Kind of,
agree.
kind of done with Black Swan at this point. Um, but yeah.
Now, with Black Swan, real quick question here. The way that I understood it from the last issues is that Victor went back with Molecule Man and then made himself a god. And so all of the swans are following Doom. So what is she going to do once she sees the face of God?
Well, here's the thing.
That is a good question, because didn't they say that, they couldn't see the face of God?
Well, to clarify, she never knew that it was Doom, right? And technically, she's already seen Doom. Well, back when
That's
she
true.
was there on the incursion that happened in Latveria, all the way back when in New Avengers. So she had to have seen Doom at that point. But like she didn't know he was God. They've never seen his face, and that was more just to like hide, the identity. No one was supposed to know that it was Doom the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, and he wasn't really a god at that point too. He was just using time travel tech and magic.
Which, I mean, to a primitive people, I guess that would be God.
Yeah.
Though they're not too primitive, I guess, but.
Yeah, he talks about how helping them create a dogma is a good way to He was basically running a cult, like you know. Yeah.
It is kind of textbook for, in terms of religions and things, because, I mean, establish a following, put yourself on this high pedestal, get rid of anybody who questions it. And, I mean, he took it a step further and then is now has rewritten reality to show that what his version of the truth is fact. So, I guess if he really is a good person, as he's kind of pseudo claiming to be, how much is he going to let that lie go?
Right. Is he going to do what's best for his people, or is he going to do what's best for him? Is he a benevolent god, or is he just Doom? And I'm sure they'll explore that. You know. Well, if you guys are interested, there are tons of spin-offs for Secret Wars. Like every book that was running at the time, all of the tie-ins, and I use air quotes when I say tie-ins, are like things that are happening in the battle world. So like things that aren't really important to the overall story of Secret Wars, but there are cool stories being told because they're Elseworld stories and they're fresh and they're unique.
Mm-hmm.
One specifically that I actually bought the issues to was a Captain America book where he rides Devil Dinosaur across the wastelands. So if you're not familiar, Devil Dinosaur is a big old red T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty
I
cool.
am not familiar. That just sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's sick.
Who doesn't want to see Captain America ride a T-Rex?
Exactly, right? That's what I
Sounds like a
say.
good time overall.
Yeah, and he's not like in his like full like regular get up. He's almost like, I wouldn't say a knight, but more close to like a barbarian. Like if I was gonna say like what class is he, he's he's of like a fighter barbarian mix, you know. So it's kind of neat.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. But for this book, I mean, there's not really much. We kind of went over his the society Doom has built, who survived, things like that. I think we got a lot covered there. You have anything else
I'm
you want to
really
add?
surprised that this is only 9 issues. Like, okay, granted, you were just talking about tie-ins, and like I should factor that into my thought process, but the whole thing of 9 issues is kind of surprising. Then again, these first couple of issues that we read were pretty chunky, so
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
expecting
decent
the others to be
sized
kind of the same.
book. What are they, about like 40-page issues?
Yeah, there was like 40, 48. I think the last one was 20 something.
Yeah, they're big ones. That second one was really big.
Yeah, it was good though.
Yeah, it's really good. A lot of talking, a lot of information. Um, yeah, the omnibus is huge. Like I've only seen it once or twice. I've never purchased it because those things are expensive. Like we're talking hundreds
Oh
of
yeah.
dollars. Um, but yeah, it's huge. Um, but yeah, I mean, next week we'll do 4, 5, and 6, and then we'll have one more week after that, and then we'll be done this story, and we'll be on to something new. But any final thoughts on the first 3 issues before we sign off, guys? No.
A lot of time nonsense, but I know it's going to turn out interesting. Like it, like most things with comics, when it comes up, it starts you off kind of a little confusing, but it's doing a good job of addressing things in order as it comes up.
Yeah,
So I'm really happy about that.
I'm glad, and I think it's a confusing thing to have to like set up a whole new world. Um, with familiar elements from the world before, so things can get a little like confused and lost in the sauce.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think you're right. I think the Hickman is doing a good job addressing things as they come up. How about you, Al? Any final
I just
thoughts?
hope they keep going with the big hits like you know, Colossus fastball special and the Hulk and stuff like that. That's fun. I enjoyed stuff like that. So
Yeah,
and seeing alternate characters that aren't normally in Avengers comics and stuff like that. I think that's cool. I've
yeah.
said that all the way through this read that I enjoyed seeing non-Avengers characters thrown in. So I hope they keep going with stuff like that, and we get to see a lot more characters because
Oh
that's
yeah,
fun.
I absolutely agree. I mean, the anytime you can get some X-Men characters in there, stuff that we're not used to seeing on the big screen, things like that. I love that kind of stuff. Makes
Yeah,
it feel
absolutely.
more cohesive. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. If you're enjoying our little content here, remember to subscribe and like. Again, we're your hosts. I'm Shane.
I'm
Ian.
Ian.
No,
We're both Ian. Who are you?
I'm Ian.
And I'm
Damn
Alex.
it!
This was Comic Book Wednesdays.
Have a good night, y'all.
Good night.